Hello. I wanted to add a short video to the mix here. I had a question from my daughter a couple days ago, and she's wanting to do some work with me, and she asked me, do I need to go get a loan officer's license to do this work? And my response to her is no. In fact, I don't want you to get the license. And so I've been in lending 27 years. My company is called USA Private Money. And I've been for at least half of that time, I've been a licensed mortgage broker and a licensed loan officer. And about 10 years ago, we made the shift from doing traditional lending to doing investment property lending or business purpose lending. And I was in the business for 15, maybe 17 years before I learned that in most of the states, maybe like 45 of the states, that there is an exemption for non-owner occupied investment property loans, and that you do not need to have a loan officer MLO license or NMLS ID. Now, obviously, you need to check with an attorney in the area where you work or live, because there are some states that require it. And for example, like the state of Oregon, you can't originate unless you have either a loan officer license or a broker license. State of Arizona, where I live, you can't originate unless you have a loan officer or a broker license. And so but there are a lot of other states that have exemptions, and you don't need a license, and especially if you structure the deal where there are no points or fees. Some of the states, if you do it that way, you don't need a license to do it. Anyway, so what I said to her is that what you need is really two things. You need skill set and you need mindset. Skill set, you need to know what you can do and how you can do it, and and how to structure the deals. And then as far as mindset, it's that this is a commission-based job, and a lot of people get discouraged because it can be a really competitive business. And for many years we were doing brokering loans, and it's competitive because the person next that they talk to next, the borrower talks to, will give a lower rate and a lower fee to get the business, and it can be a race to the bottom. And what I've discovered is there's just not a lot of loyalty in that business. But when you do the transaction the way we do it, I call it blue ocean. There's just no competition, because what we look to do is find situational lending where we're helping someone do something that they can't do otherwise. So for example, a contractor who's been a contractor 10 or 20 years, and they make their living as a contractor and they make a decent living, but what if they could double their money on a property that they're doing all the work on? And so I like working with contractors who have the skill set to do the rehab or renovation, but would like to get paid more. And so they don't have a problem splitting a deal with us, meaning they find the property, they manage the property as far as all the renovation, and then we provide the capital. And what I like to say is they own the home, we own the loan. And then we do a profit participation. And typically, on any private money or hard money loan, there's always an interest rate. And then what we like to do is take our profit and put it into different buckets. So we'll put some money in the bucket of origination, and we'll put money, some of our profits, into a higher interest rate, and then we'll put some of our profit into loan fees, and then we'll put the remaining in the profit participation bucket. When the deal closes, we end up getting paid first on all these items. And so instead of chasing people that are looking for a mortgage broker, what we do is we look for people that are looking for a capital partner. And so I said to her, don't go get a loan officer's license. I mean, it's good knowledge, but in practicality, it's really a waste of time from my standpoint because of all the oversight, and because we have an equity participation in the deal. In many areas that creates an exemption all by itself. And so anyway, I'd say, talk to your local attorney and make sure that you're complying with lending laws. But the lending and securities attorney that we've worked with for a number of years has, essentially given me a list of states that we can originate in that does not require a license, as long as it's a non-owner occupied investment property or a business purpose loan. So that being the case, I was just telling my daughter that the secret to this whole business is finding co-lenders, people that want to participate. So we typically charge between points, fees, interest, and participation. We want to make at least $25,000, and then we turn around and we share that with our co-lenders. And so I was just telling her that what you need to learn how to do is find co-lenders who are either they want to learn the business, or they just want to get paid monthly. They want capital growth, and they want profit participation. And so anyway, I wanted to just share that with those who are inquisitive about, how does this really work? And the other thing I'd tell you is that it has nothing to do with your location. I'm doing deals right now in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Kansas. Just had a discussion on a deal in Alabama, and there's a couple other states. Texas, I've got a deal we're going to be closing this week in Texas. And so it has nothing to do with the location, but you have to know how to underwrite the deal. And we'll talk more about that over time. But so here's what I'm going to tell you is that if you want a list of like the 12 steps that we take to take a deal from beginning to end, it's our checklist, and I'll be more than happy to share the checklist with you. So just in the comments below, just say, type in checklist, and I'll just send you a copy of our checklist, and then you can see what we do to take a deal from beginning to end. So that's all I have for you tonight, and if you have any other comments, go ahead and put those in the comment section. And if we're offering anything of value, if you press the like button and the subscribe button, and then we'll just continue to see if we can't offer value to those who want to learn this business. And anyway, look forward to talking to you, and that's all we have for now.